It has been no secret here at Fraser Downs that times have been a little tough over the last couple of years because of the economy. We recently had a chance to sit down with trainer, driver, owner Scott Knight, president of the BCSA, to explain what has transpired over the year and how difficult the times have been.
We had to take a 20% cut, and it's hard to tell the horsemen that, you know, we don't have enough money, we got to drop these purses, but your feed's still going to be the same, and your bedding's still going to be the same, and your stall run's still going to be the same. And you know, we didn't want the purse pool to get into a deficit. We wanted to make sure we had enough money to get through the year and then start the next season fresh, and that way we wouldn't have to cut the purses the next year. So when we look back, I think we handled it right. At the time, it wasn't a nice thing to do.
Now you're on the board of the BCSA, and that's got to be something else.
People kind of asked me to go on. I never really knew what it was about when I first started. That was probably about 6 years ago. So when I went in and got voted on, it was all new to me. I didn't really know what to expect. So I did it for a couple years and was just a director, and then I got nominated to be vice president, which isn't really much different than being a director. It's the president's kind of the main guy, the vice kind of fills in, but most of the time you're just basically another director. I was vice president for, I think, 4 years under Jim Vanell. So when it came up, they asked me to be president, I was pretty reluctant. I didn't think I had enough time, and I probably don't. I mean, the president takes a lot of time. There's so many meetings, there's so many different things they're always calling you for and bringing you in for and doing, and it's been kind of a learning process for me. It's nice to see what actually happens and how we get to what our purse structure is and how we get to what our TBC is and how everything kind of works. But it's a long day, and especially when you're training and driving, and then they're calling you in for meetings, and then you got a meeting that night, and they want you to make decisions. And as a president, it's not really that my decision is final. It's basically our directors make the decisions. But it takes a lot of time, and I know my family, they curse me out quite a bit, saying, "I got another meeting. You got to come to football. You got to come to baseball." And sometimes I almost wish maybe I didn't do it. So,
being that you're in the backstretch all the time with your jobs, do you feel heat from people that don't know what's going on because the purses have been dropped and you're president?
Yeah, no, a lot of people come over and, you know, complain, or not just complain, just ask, and then maybe get a little hot about it, saying that we should be doing this, we should be doing that, and I mean, I can understand too, because it was the same way when I wasn't on the board. I'd say, well, what were they thinking? What were they doing? Why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? But, you know, a lot of times our decision isn't final. It might be management's decision, or it might be, the lottery's decision, or somebody else's decision. And, you know, you just explain it to them and say, listen, I had nothing to do with that. That's management's decision, and, you know, we tried for this, but we didn't get it. And most of them, they understand.
Sometimes as a horseman, are the hands tied of you guys because of management and the powers to be?
Yeah, no, a lot of times they are. A lot of times the decisions just aren't ours, and it's financial. I mean, management, they only got so much money too. And we get frustrated. I mean, we've asked to fix this track every year, and they've told us, you know, that they will, and then summer comes, and the end of summer comes, and then they say, oh, we don't have time to fix it, or we don't have the money to fix it, and it's getting pretty frustrating that way.
One of the other things that is of concern to the public, and obviously to the horsemen, the whipping rules, they're so different all over the country. What's your mandate now as a driver here at Fraser Downs?
Well, now, basically, you got to keep both hands in the handholds, and you basically can only use wrist action, which is kind of judge's discretion, so it makes it frustrating for us, because you see one guy kind of coming back and one guy not, and one guy's getting fined and one guy's not. So, but basically you're not allowed to whip anymore. You can just tap them, and that's about all. They've changed it over the years, but they've they've gone that way in Toronto and everywhere else in the country, so they had to basically do it here. It's basically the people that have never been here before. They don't understand that we're not hurting the horse. They don't understand that the saddle pads are up there and there's judges there to rule on who's whipping too hard and who's doing it illegally. Then they're the ones that are complaining, and those we need the people here, so basically we got to look at their concerns too, and I think that's where management's looked at their concerns and kind of hurt us.
The Alberta invasion coming into horse racing, does it make it better racing here or not?
At the start of the meet, there's a lot of classes that don't fill. When the Alberta horses come, then you can maybe get some of those horses raced that you couldn't get raced. But when they get the influx, then a lot of times there's too many horses in a certain class, and then you get to sit out every couple weeks, or sometimes you race a week, sit out a week. So it's kind of goes both ways. But having the different guys here to drive against too, it's a lot of fun, and you guys you haven't seen for a while, and but it's different, but you just kind of take it for what it is.